I'm Chef Gretchen Hanson, and I'm going to teach you how to make white cannellini beans with collard greens for less than $2 a person. It's showtime.
She is quoted as saying, "Food is love." And to tell you the truth, I don't think I could agree with that anymore. Chef Gretchen Hanson has whipped up some amazing vegan dishes in the Delmarva Life kitchen time and time again. And although she cannot actually join us in historic Studio D, she is whipping up a couple of things for us via Zoom. No less remarkable. Chef Gretchen, how are you?
I am fantastic, Jimmy, and how are you?
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, one of the things that we're talking about today is trying to stretch out that money budget for the groceries. And with that in mind, talking about food insecurity as well.
Yeah, so that's really pertinent today. And one of the things that I discovered as I was doing a little bit of research on this is that our food demand for food banks has almost doubled in the last year. I don't know what the SNAP demand has been, but over the last couple months, that has gotten more increasingly grand as well. What I did was pretend as if I had a SNAP card, an ABT card, and I went to the grocery store and purchased things as if I was buying with that card. And what I tried to do was I tried to feed a family of 4 or a family of 8 for under $2 a person. But what I wanted to do was to feed people as healthily as possible and without adding simple sugars or simple carbohydrates, and make sure that that food was like stick to your ribs kind of food and make you strong, healthy, and not hungry food. Make it last, make it have antioxidants, make it have nutrients, etc.
Okay, so the quick and easy thing is, like you were saying, it's always packed with sugar and processed food, but to go healthier has always been more expensive, but you're saying that you can do it less expensively.
Yeah, so Jimmy, that's not really true, because what they've started to do is they've started to make grocery store card commitments as you walk into that grocery store. Everything is $1, $1.50, $2. That's the sugar stuff. Those are the sodas. Those are the pre-made Cinnabons. Those are the sugared cereals, et cetera, et cetera. That simple sugar breaks down very, very quickly. And what happens is you get a quick burst of energy, and then you get a quick crash. And it's the same thing with processed flours. When you have a whole grain or a whole bean, for example, like this one, it takes a long time for your stomach to break down those fibers and those proteins. And what that ends up doing is giving you energy and food security in your stomach for hours and hours and hours and hours. So it's a much better source of protein, a much better source of nutrients, and it's a much longer lasting feeling of fullness.
All right, Chef Gretchen, we're going to get to preparing a couple of dishes that you have ready for us. We're going to do that here in just a second. You're also going to tell us why water is so important in this entire picture as well. So have you got something you can show us real quick before we come back from commercial break and you show us how to make a couple things?
Sure. So what I have here is I made a black bean and tomatillo salsa dish. I have a can of beans right here that I have rinsed and drained, and I've used some of my homemade vegetable stock, which I have right here. That's already in here. I have a thing of salsa. I'm going to throw that in, right? And then and I used about half of that, and then some roasted onions, which I've already done. Some cumin, some white pepper, some oregano, just some spices I had on hand. I'm going to heat this. And basically, once I heat this and it gets hot and all those flavors reduce and melt, that I'm going to serve over rice and make sure it's a whole grain rice. And I'm also going to serve that with corn tortillas. And the reason I'm doing that is that rice, bean, corn, and tomatoes are almost the perfect dish. Well, they are the perfect dish to keep you full for longer. You have your vegetables, your corn tortillas break down the acids in the tomatoes, and the rice and beans are a perfect protein to fill you for a long period of time.
We have got to go to commercial break here real quick. You've got something else to fix for us, and I want to talk to you some more about food insecurity and how to eat healthy at less expense. We're going to do that here in just a second. We'll be right back with Chef Gretchen Hanson when Delmarva Live continues. We are back with Chef Gretchen Hanson. So, Chef, tell me what it is you've got there, because you put this together before we went to commercial break.
Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, it took literally seconds. So what I did was I did 2 different versions of a black bean tomatillo salsa dish. And this one I made over a longer period of time and pureed it. And this one I did just very quickly with a can of black beans, a onion, and some salsa, serving it with a corn tortilla and a little more tomato salsa and cilantro. So these are both dishes that you can make for less than $2. And I think this one was actually like $1.25 per person for a really filling meal that's going to give you everything you need to power through your day.
Okay, I'll let you get back around to the other side and start on the next one that you're fixing for us this evening. Tell us what it is you're making and what you're doing while you do it.
Okay, so I'm going to be sauteing some onions here and some garlic. And this is just a very, very quick dish that I'm making. It's a white bean, collard green dish. And collard greens are so important because they're loaded with fiber and loaded with vitamin C. But let's go back to water, because drinking water is one of the most important things you can do. Everything that you drink flushes through your kidneys and your liver and your whole entire body and your bloodstream. The more sugar you drink, the more sugar is in your bloodstream. And it's very, very easy to drink sugar drinks. What you want to do wherever you possibly can is make sure you're drinking water instead of that, or very, very light tea, because you want to flush your system as much as possible. One of the things I do every day is I pinch my hand, and if my hand is white, that means that I probably need to drink a lot more water if it stays white after I pinch it. Have you ever heard that? Now, I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything, but that's sort of my guideline. If I pinch my hand and it stays white after a while, I know that I'm a little dehydrated. First thing I do when I wake up in the morning is drink 12 to 16 ounces of water. And that actually, for me, works better waking me up than coffee sometimes.
I am out of time. Finish what you're doing. Tell me about it real quick so we can wrap up.
Okay, onions, garlic. I'm going to add the collard greens in here. I'm going to throw them in, let them saute real hard. Add the cannellini beans, add the tomatoes, and what I'm going to end up with is a dish like this. It's a cannellini bean collard green ragu. I add a little harissa to this, a little oregano, a little crushed red pepper. Again, this dish cost me less than $2 per person to make, and it made enough for 8 to 10 people. It was amazing. So I have all my recipes and all the different shortcuts you can use and how to make them. It will be on the WBCOC website. It will also be on my website, www.chefgretchenhanson, and my Facebook page, Chef Gretchen Hanson.
And we will be sure to put all that information as links on delmarvalife.com. Chef Gretchen Hanson, thank you so much for sharing this information. I'll be over for dinner here in a little bit.
I really appreciate it. Good talking to you. I miss you.
Miss you too.